Hello, and thank you for taking the time to listen to these messages. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Also, check out the description box for ways to support our channel. Thank you. Hello, family. Today, I would like to address, and I don't want to offend my other family members, but today I would like to address my African American family members specifically. Again, I don't want to offend anyone, but this specific message is for that particular branch of our tree, right? And I would like to so lovingly coin this term, the Obama effect. Where am I going with that though, right? I'm just going to point out a couple facts before I break it really down. Down. Um, you have a man that had very little qualifications to become president to begin with. Then, shortly after that, they awarded that same man the Nobel Peace Prize. Again, very little qualifications to receive such an esteemed honor. And then goes on to drop the most bombs in freaking United States presidential history. He's made more drone strikes and killed more terrorists than all other presidents combined. Do your homework, look it up. um, I digress. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. The Obama effect, right? Under the Obama administration, what people fail to realize is that black and brown men suffered more than in previous years. Far more. When you look at the statistics, more unarmed black men and brown men were killed by police violence during the Obama administration. And when you really look at the statistics, if you dig a little deeper, I'm going to point you to an extremely beautiful sister, very articulate, very intelligent. Her name is Michelle Alexander. All you have to do is go and Google her name. Excuse me. Go and Google Michelle Alexander. And some of her work is extremely relevant to where I'm going with this. She talks about these different cases that a lot of them, were ruled as suicides. They were ruled as different causes of death. They were ruled as all these different things. But when you look at the evidence and you look at the pictures, she calls them urban lynchings. And that's exactly what they are when you look at this stuff. Okay? And this stuff started happening even more under the Obama administration. Where am I going with that? You had a lot of people in this country that did vote for Obama that were hopeful for change and all those different things. But you had another portion of this country that did not. They hated it. And they took that anger and that frustration out on black people, on innocent black people. You know what I'm saying? And brown people. But they scuttled a lot of that stuff out of the media because they wanted to paint that picture, you know what I mean, and The whole time we were thinking that he was going to fight for, you know, the rights in the African American community, some of the injustices that are happening in the court systems, um, all of this different things when you can see the documented evidence of a um, systematic effort to be more lenient on other offenders, even though they would commit the same exact crimes and different things like that, they would not receive the same harsh punishment that other offenders would receive. You know, so it's like it was, there's a lot going on in our justice system that when you look at parallel cases and you look at the sentences handed down for those cases during a lot of this time. I'll even go as far back as Clinton, you know. During the Clinton administration, people think that Bill Clinton was cool and he was da 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 da, you know. Nah, man. Nah, bruh. When you look at the stats, he was just as harsh on, you know, the system was just as harsh on black and brown people under those administrations, if not more harsh, okay? And so uh, that in itself left a very bad taste. Like the people in the African American community that were really awakened and paying attention and looking at the numbers and looking at what was really going on, you know, instead of being blinded by the fact that, you know, Obama is an African American president, so we should support him, blah blah blah. Which we should support our commander in chief no matter what. It doesn't matter. That's our commander in chief. No matter if you're Democrat, Republican, Green Party, whatever. Our president is our president, and you support them until you get the right to exercise your vote during the next cycle, and then hopefully you can make a change. But other than that, you support that president, no matter if he's of your party, of your race, of anything. It don't matter. You support him. He's the leader of our country. And again, during the Obama administration, you had a lot of people that were like, oh, he's not my president. He's not my, yes, he is your president. What are you talking about? What, are you not American anymore? He's not your president? So a lot of different rifts and a lot of different things were spawned from the Obama administration. You started having that darn alt-right or whatever you call it, you know, these so-called Christian conservative white males that are somehow going to resurrect the greatness of, you know, days past in this country, which to me, in my mind, is code for you want to make black folk and brown folk your slave again. And we're not having that shit. Excuse my language, but we're not having it. So there was a big rift that was caused during the Obama administration because, again, you had these alt-right, these far-right people, and then you had a lot of people in the African American community that saw him for what he really was, right? But I want to focus in on that point, though. They were making the point that, oh, he's a mulatto, the mulattoes are agents, light bright, and da 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 da, all this Chiquita banana Oreo cookie, all this things that I've heard my whole life from the black community. Not all of it, but there is a very small percentage of black people, of our own family, our own community, that does not embrace brothers like me because I'm light skinned. Now, those of you that are from where I'm from that know my family, you know my genetics. You know who I am. You know who my brother and my sister are. You know, so there is no question. with people that I grew up with, but even still, um, there was always that element of poking fun at the light skinned dude. You know what I'm saying? Poking fun at someone who doesn't look the same as you, but you know they're the same as you. You know what I mean? And I attribute a lot of that to, like some of the stuff that was instituted during slavery, like because they had us in competition with each other, the house Negroes versus the field Negroes and all this and that. We all know the narrative. And so I humbly believe that during those times, and also during, the rape of our women, during a lot of that transitional period, you know what I'm saying? They really did a lot to our culture, okay? And anyone who wants to sit here and not acknowledge that is a fool. You are a fool, and you are literally, that is cognitive dissonance. When you see the truth, you have evidence in front of you that shows you the truth, but yet you still choose not to acknowledge the truth. That is cognitive dissonance. That is straight insanity. Period. End of story. And any professional, even Caucasians, are going to tell you that. So all of the evidence is there that through the systematic institution of the Willie Lynch plan and the Jim Crow laws of the South, that we have, the current state that we're in. Now you got to remember, you had to make an amendment just to allow black and brown people to be considered citizens. Not only that, but you didn't even respect your women enough to count them as full citizens holding the same rights and responsibilities and duties as you would have. And I'm talking about land ownership, and I'm talking about voting, and I'm talking about all that, baby. All of it. So I humbly believe that our government that systematically controlled, corralled, choked, they systematically manipulated and controlled the entertainment industry and the sports industry. After they could not stop the integration of the African American athletes, they had to put in a system of control, and so, yeah, I want to blame our government for putting our community in the state that we're in, to where we're in constant competition and constant at each other's throats, and we can't come together. And we're always dividing ourselves according to, or judging each other according to, texture of hair, skin tone, the size of that brother's nose is too wide, or man, like it's always something, that we find about one another that we make fun of, that we, shame each other about. Man, black is beautiful. Every shade of black is beautiful. Even me. As light as I am, and as much as I want to be as dark as my brother, shout out Fred, I love you. That was a beautiful hour-long conversation we had today, by the way. And as much as I would have loved to, be my full blackness, this is how I came out, man. And I can't dispute, because learning what I learned, apparently I chose to incarnate this way. So, it is what it is. But I love black people. I love all shades of black. The darker the better, man. I think that black skin is the most beautiful the most flawless that you could ever think to have. It's think about it, man. Think about it. That is the essence of the universe, man. That's condensed sunlight, okay? That's like, oh, wow. If the universe were to ever manifest itself in physical form, it would be a black woman. That's why they say the black woman is God. The, some of the teachers in our community may say that. That's why they say that, because the black woman is literally the physical embodiment of the cosmos. She's perfection in human form. She is. She holds every single genetic code on this earth inside of her. Everything, every genetic code of every race, everything comes from the black woman. Tell me that ain't pure perfection, okay? So all shades of black are beautiful, man. And we have to start coming together and loving each other and embracing each other, all of us, you know what I'm saying? I see it's easy for the dark skinned brothers to embrace the light skinned females. That's easy. That's very simple. But we have to all start to embrace. And a lot of my fam, shout out fam and bruh, uh, I generally only run with dark skinned people. That's who I roll with. My peoples are Jamaican, and they rock with me hard. When I was rolling with them, but yeah, I mean everyone that I ever really with the exception of my people's Mike, Mike Blake, we very tight, very very tight. Another light skinned brother, mixed brother, and but yeah, other than that, I've always been thick as thieves with. I prefer. I don't know why. I just have a natural love predisposition for darker skin, for darker skin females and things like that. So yeah, I digress, man. I digress. Back on the unity and love. Yes, we have to start breaking down these lines of division. We have to start breaking down these lines that they've used to divide us, these things that they've used to classify us and put us into boxes. You know what I'm saying? We really have to start redefining how we as a community interact with each other. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be on a business level, on a personal level, economic level. You know what I'm saying? We have to start coming together and start healing those scars of our past. You know what I'm saying? Start practicing group economics. That's the main reason why our culture is the only culture that does not practice group economics. If you look at all of them, the brown, the Hispanic communities, whether they be Dominican, Mexican, Latino. Look at the Asian communities. Look at the Jewish communities. Look at all these different communities where they practice group economics. They have businesses and they circulate that currency within those circles. And we have to get to that point to where we start to build, little small networks. We have to build small networks here and there, and then we can start to trade and exchange the goods and services between those networks. You feel me? And patronize each other's businesses. And I think that that's really going to come from healing as a community. Excuse me. Sorry. But yeah, I honestly feel that that's going to come from us healing as a community, and starting to sit down at the table and have a narrative amongst each other, especially black men. And that's no offense and no slight to my sisters. Y'all know I love y'all. But I'm saying that because we are the main ones that can stop this violence that's in our community. We are the main ones that can stop the jealousy and the things like that amongst each other, you know? And we have to take an active role and a more responsible and more accountable role in our own communities, our own bubble, the youth and the ones that we can affect, that are within our immediate circle, our immediate area, make a conscious effort to, at least touch base with them, you know, get a gauge of how they're feeling about things and how they see things going, because that's important. It's important to get a gauge of the youth and their vision, because if they don't have a vision, if they don't have a sight for the future, then, and they don't see no future, excuse me, then they're not going to feel they have a stake in their community, you know? And you have to give people a sense that they have a stake in their community, a sense that they have a voice or a say over their future, over their course. You know what I'm saying? And so I humbly believe if more of us start to heal those scars of our past and we start to reach back to the young people, then we can heal a generation, and we can also proceed forward in the future, with a lot more clarity, with a centered position of love towards everybody, because once we heal ourselves and we, come to grips with our own community and we get that group love back popping, then we can radiate that outwards to other communities and start to really rejoin the world population, you know what I'm saying? And but it takes us, you know, rising up, making a personal effort within ourselves and, within our households and within our neighborhoods, so on and so forth. So, again, I just want to express that I love all shades of people. I love every every race, every culture on this planet. We are all beautiful fragments and reflections of the Creator. Some of us are not present in our meat suit all the time, but yet and still, that spark that animates that meat suit, that divine spark, that divine fragment is what I'm talking about. Every one of us has it. Some of us, it's not awakened, but every one of us has the potential to, grow into that fullness, you know what I mean? But right now, we're all just fragments of the whole that's been shattered into 8 billion pieces or less. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for listening to this message.